Hey friends, welcome back, and thank you so much for joining us here today for episode 19 of A Detoured Path, where we fully firmly believe that sometimes the only thing we all really need in life is just a little reroute. My name is Chelsea Marie Mauger, and I'll be your host here today and every day on A Detoured Path. So to all our new and returning listeners out there, if you're finding yourself in need of a little reroute, or already meandering down that unforeseen pathway in life, whether by choice, force, or somewhere in between, or just interested in possibly thinking about things a little bit differently, this could be the show for you. We will be sharing personal accounts, stories, and a variety of perspectives in order to help us all gain a greater sense of community and connectivity in this little thing we call life. Just a little disclaimer before we begin. Though we do try to keep a mostly G and or PG rating here at A Detoured Path, we are discussing life, and life is not always G and or PG rated. That's just something to keep in mind in case you are listening with any little itty-bitty tater-tots present. Chelsea, tell me a story. Once upon a time, in a land not so far away, there lived a young little girl, completely unaware of her power and all the power that already existed inside of her. She had no idea how much power she really did have and the extent of which it would and could reach. It emanated from her farther than any actual human eye could see. She was wise beyond her years with the wisdom of the sages that came from many, many, many lifetimes before her current living one. People would call on her for her guidance and perspective, for she would try to remove herself from the situation as a judgmental human mind and instead put herself in the shoes of the inquirer and all others involved in the situation at hand. She would extend her reach near and far. If not the moon, she'd catch a star. She wasn't sure how or when. She was on a mission. There was a plan. It seemed that exterior circumstances would suggest to her otherwise, though. I mean, who was she anyway? What made her so special? It would appear to her that the way she phrased things and the way she said things didn't always quite come out sounding just right. Others would often look at her quite perplexed. There was that look, with that pause, with that, oh, okay, so anyway, kind of moving on undertone and subtext to their voice and vocal pattern. Was she really all that strange or weird or different like other people seemed to think? She didn't think so. To her, she was just normal. But then again, she didn't have anything else to compare to. She had only lived her life, not anyone else's. Still, her beliefs weren't always necessarily considered part of the mainstream. She rarely liked to color inside the lines. She preferred to view the world on the outer edges rather than living in the boredom of the all too familiar formal interior of living in the box. From this, you might think that when she was given the choice of A or B, she would reply, "No thanks, I'll take choice C." And you'd be right to think this so, but instead she yelled, "No, no, no, choice A, B, C, what? Just 3? 3 is not enough for me. Instead of just your ABC, there's DEF, and then there's G. HIJK, you see my way? Just 3 is not the way to play. I'd like to see where I can go, and I won't stop because of no. Perception is a funny thing. It can make us stop, or make us sing. It may depend on just how far. Did you stop or stretch for stars? Gosh, she thought, what have I learned? And what is none of my concern? She took a second to think real quick. People always asked, what makes you tick? They'd say things like, I can't figure you out. She'd shrug her shoulders. Was this self-doubt? Why was it they were so concerned? She wished they'd just let her learn. Inward, she would turn away, hide her face, not come out to play. But you see, that was then. It was only a matter of when she'd be called to be herself again. Herself, you say. What do you mean? Her lens was small. She had not seen. Her perception was so minute, and from it came unfriendly fruit. She would project what she thought they wanted, but because it was false, she was always haunted. All this time was time ill spent. She wasted time on what things meant. How could she expect to figure it out? It was time to shift, a time to reroute. For their perception of her was not on them. It was learned and acquired. There was a stem. So though we get mad at what we see may not even be. What? Really? Are you kidding me? You mean I've built my whole perception on a ground of falsity? I determined there was something about me that wasn't quite right because of how I perceived their eye caught the light. It wasn't me that offended them so. They found offense in what I did or did not to them think I should or should not know. I can't control what they have seen. Their experiences are theirs and do not belong to me. Thank you so much for your time and attention thus far. We are just going to take a brief minute to recognize today's sponsor and something that I am super excited about, which also just happens to be my own little pride and joy. CMM Designs Journal Collection by Chelsea Marie Mauger. Whether it be inspirational and motivational journals, self-help and self-empowerment journals, silly and lighthearted journals, funny, cute, humorous, animal, kid, travel, niche-specific, or any other kind of journals under the sun, we have selections to suit every single kind of taste and consumer. Lined pages with glossy covers designed by yours truly create the perfect writing companion and thoughtful gift for any kind of friend, acquaintance, relative, coworker, and even yourself. Show someone you care. CMM Designs by Chelsea Marie Mauger. Journals for the heart, mind, and soul. Be the change you wish to see. Carpe diem. Now back to the show. Yes, their experiences are theirs and do not belong to me. Great, she said. Well then, I'm glad. No longer will I let them make me feel sad. One less thing I have on my plate. Thank goodness. That's fabulous. And man, I feel great. Because before it was get ahead of the curve, try to predict all the outcomes, but that is really absurd. To play human chess to the extent I would go only cause scattered missions. Where's she going? Oh, I don't know. Anxiety-driven, she'd fret life away, worry and spin herself to decay, predicting scenarios maybe they'd be, but maybe would always be a possibility. Imagining events as if they could be, weighing all the consequences substantially. Always too many steps ahead of the curve, she never stopped to take it in or just to observe. By always trying to be so well prepared, she had missed half her life. And no, I don't think it's fair. This, she decided, was the end of the line. From this day going forward, she'd get out of her mind. A mind is only as good as the foundation it sits. If it just rocks, it's time for a lift. No more would she go unnoticed, unseen. She had to be tough, though others were mean. No longer under the radar. That's not for her. She stood up, claimed her spot, though others might stir. No longer a victim of her own self and mind, she made the decision she would definitely be fine. How other people thought and felt was beyond her control and was actually a much more time-consuming and fruitless job than she ever even initially thought or fathomed. To have to control all of that? Ugh, what a nauseating responsibility, and one that she was glad she didn't actually have to have. So, nevertheless, she persisted, even though hardship insisted, pulling from her, goals persisted, her strength she had enlisted, better thoughts no longer twisted, the past soon in the distance. And on that note, friends, I believe that is all we have time for today. Thank you so much for joining us from wherever or whenever you are doing so today. Feel free to comment, message, support, donate, and subscribe on whichever and whatever platform you are joining us from today. We are available and searchable internationally on over 21 platforms. Pick your favorites. Leave a review and a rating if you liked what you heard, and hit subscribe to get all the latest updates and podcast information. If you'd like to further support, you can make a contribution by going directly to our host platform, Anchor. ANCHOR. Your generosity helps to continue the workflow, volume, and frequency of a Detoured Path, and for that, we are very grateful. Also, if you feel like someone you know would really benefit from listening to today's episode, feel free to share it and pass it along. In the meantime, if you're looking for more thoughts, stories, and insights while you're waiting for the next episode of A Detoured Path to come out, you can find the book Short Girl Diaries, Unedited and Grammatically Incorrect by Chelsea Marie Mauger. Last name is spelled capital M-A-U-G as in great, E-R as in red, which is available on Amazon in both print and Kindle formats, as well as through the Kindle Unlimited program where you can read pages for free. Come find us on Instagram by following @Chelsea Marie Mauger, all one word, CHELSEA-MARIE-MAUGER. Stop by and say hi. Say the podcast sent you. And don't forget, if you find yourself stimulated to write after listening to one of the topics discussed here today on A Detoured Path, come check out our enormous selection of journals and writer's notebooks by Chelsea Marie Mauger, available for purchase on Amazon through our parent company, CMM Designs. All you have to do is type Chelsea Marie Mauger into your Amazon search engine, and a plethora of journal and notebooks choices will pop up. We add selections every day, so be on the lookout for new designs to add to your collection. So, until next time, my name is Chelsea Marie Mauger, and you've been listening to A Detoured Path, where we fully, firmly believe that sometimes the only thing we all really need in life is just a little reroute.